Hey guys, so what is Thrivehood, you might ask? Well, that's a good question. I'd say it's a relevant life roadmap for young men out there who want to thrive as they're maturing boldly into manhood. From the very serious to the silly, I chat about a wide variety of relatable topics that both challenge and motivate you to do what needs to be done now so you can become who you want to be later. I'm Tim Williams, and this is Thrivehood. Several years ago, when my kids were young, probably, they were toddlers for sure, I was sitting down and chatting with my brother-in-law. God rest his beautiful soul. Man, he left us much too soon, but that's for another time. Anyway, was just sitting and chatting with him and his wife, and the topic of our kids came up. They had a couple of young kids as well, and we were just bantering back and forth, and the subject of friendships came up. My sister-in-law, Ashley, said something so profound, it took me a couple of days to wrap my mind around it. And she said this. She said, yeah, we've told our girls that your friends don't choose you, you choose your friends. And I want to talk for just a couple of minutes today on how profound and how powerful that statement is. As I said, I pondered that for a few days, and not only did I implement that for my kids as they were growing up, I implemented that in my own life as well. So let's unpack this statement. Your friends don't choose you, you choose your friends. What do you mean by that, right? It means, at least this was my takeaway, it means that you control who you let into your world. You are deciding who you want to come into that inner circle, that place in your life that's very, very private in a lot of cases, very special. There's not a lot of people that get to be in that inner sanctum, if you will, right? You understand what I'm saying? And by the way, we're talking about friendships. We're not talking about romantic right now. It's just buddies, guys that you're getting to know. It means that you get to decide, you control the narrative, you control whether or not this relationship goes any deeper or any further. The reason for that is because of influence. Now, typically, in a lot of my podcasts, I'll come out with 2 or 3 points and try to make this 3-point presentation. Man, I'm telling you, it's pretty basic here. It's about influence. That's what this is all about. It's about wanting to make sure that you identify who it is that you want to influence. Because guys, guess what? Whether you want to be influenced or not, you're going to be. You can tell me all day long, nobody influences me, I'm my own person. That's just not true, I'll be honest. We're influenced by all kinds of ways and all kinds of reasons and all kinds of people and situations and circumstances. So knowing that the truth is we are influenced, as you are young, growing up, becoming a wonderful young man, moving into manhood, the influences that you allow into your life are going to have an impact. Man, you don't have to look far to see the number of influences that have either destroyed people's lives or made them extremely successful, right? You can go down a path of influence and deciding to become a buddies with some fella that turns you into a drug addict or a life of crime, or you spend the next 30 years in prison, right? Or you can decide to become friends with someone that becomes entrepreneurs and you guys become partners and are successful and you make all kinds of money and have wonderful lives and beautiful families, right? And of course, there's all this in between, right? Depending on the relationships. I'm talking about the influence. I'm talking about you get to decide who is going to influence you. Yeah, you're going to be an influence on somebody else, but we're talking about those individuals that are influencing you, okay? As it relates to this, The next question is going to probably be, well, okay, exactly how do you do this, Tim? What are you talking about? Give me some practical applications. When you first meet someone and you have a relationship and let me say this. When you meet someone and you're beginning a relationship and maybe some things are gelling, I think a lot of times relationships are built on common interests. I also think they're built on the neighborhood kids. Everybody just sort of hangs out together, and probably extended family, cousins, and that sort of thing. So I think those are some of the basic ways that relationships build, going to school. But no matter how it begins, what you're wanting to do, and in most relationships, you're wanting to just track the relationship for a while. As you guys get to know each other and the conversations start to go a little deeper, and you start having deeper conversations about things that you normally wouldn't, you need to track and just monitor as the weeks and several weeks or maybe months goes by to see how this individual, this fellow that maybe you're thinking about developing a friendship with, manages life. How is he dealing with pressures and anxiety and stress? What is his talk like? Does he speak life? Does he speak death? Is he building up? Is he tearing down? How is he managing other relationships? That's a good one, right? How does he talk about his parents? How does he treat his girlfriend? How does he do in school? What are other people saying about this young man? You might be hearing things and comments about this young man. Does he have morals? Does he have ethics? What are key virtues as you begin to get to know this young man that you think are valuable and that you think, wow, that's good? Look, he could also be in a very challenging situation or in circumstances that you can't even relate to, but because of those, he's positive and he's speaking life and he's living to the fullest and he's doing what he can and he's really trying to be the best young man that he can be. He's striving for success. He's striving to be the best version of himself that he can be. Those are the qualities. And they're subtle. There's not a bullhorn that's saying, hey, this is me being a jerk. Okay? Hey, this is me. I'm getting ready to be a narcissist, right? I'm ready to be a jackhole, right? You're not going to get that. You're going to be able to see subtleties in how he's managing life. And then, guys, you decide, I want to be a part of that or I don't want to be a part of that. And when you make a decision that, hey, I've been tracking this dude a while, this is a pretty solid dude, man. I like what I'm seeing. I want to be a part of this. Boom. Then you take it to the next level. Because guys, friendships, strong friendships, they can develop bonds that could last a lifetime. I see that all the time. There might be friendships that only last a certain while, just maybe for a season or two. There's nothing wrong with that as well. But the goal and the idea here today is to decide who you want to let into your life and who you want to influence you. I think, unfortunately, for a number of young men, I know this is true for girls, but for young men, they may be a little lone, or they may be loners, or they may be introverts, or maybe they're not the most outgoing, and maybe it's hard for them to develop relationships. And when even a possibility of a friendship starts, oh my gosh, I got to jump on that because this is my one chance. Be careful. Be careful of that, because you never know when you're entering into a relationship that could turn ugly really, really fast. You could luck out. You could roll the dice and see where this turns out, and it could turn out to be a great relationship. But are you willing to live your life by chance a lot of times? I know us young guys, you young guys, I know. Risk is part of life. I get it. I understand that. And on occasion, it should be. It's part of who we are. But in situations like this, where there could be long-term impacts in your life, I would be careful. I'll put it this way. I would rather be alone and at peace than in the company of misery. And until next time, guys, stay strong.
This podcast is intended for informational and entertainment purposes only. Views and opinions expressed by guests are not necessarily those of the host. Please seek the advice of a trusted adult or qualified professional on matters specific to your needs.